Hey, what's going on there, guys and gals? Welcome back to another video. I'm out riding on my wife's Kawasaki Ninja 125, and in today's video we're going to discuss whether or not engine braking and rev matching is actually doable on a little 125. Let's get into it. So a little while ago, I actually did a video about engine braking and rev matching that was done on my old CBR 600RR. So if you are looking to figure out how to do engine braking and rev matching, then go ahead and check out that video. I'll leave it in the top corner for you to watch afterwards. But on a little Ninja 125 or any 125cc bike for that matter, is engine braking going to help you, and is rev matching going to help you, or is it even doable on a Ninja 125 or a 125cc motorcycle? And it's a pretty good question, because the biggest issue that you're going to have is throttle response. So with any 125cc bike that you have or that you ride, you are going to pull back the throttle, and it's going to take a while before it actually starts applying power. Whereas you don't get that on bigger bikes. You don't get that on a 600cc sport bike. You don't get that on 1 litres. I mean, even 300s will probably have a better throttle response than than a 125 like this. So how do you do rev matching and engine braking? So for those of you who don't know, I'm just going to give you the TLDR. Basically what you're doing as you are downshifting, you are trying to match the revs. So if we turn the bike on, I can actually show you. Okay, so on this Ninja 125, the rev meter is actually along the top here. And so what you're trying to do as you're downshifting is you are trying to match the revs to the lower gear. So you're trying to match the speed of the tire to the gear that you're trying to engage. And the reason why that is useful is for one, stopping quicker. So if you're going around bends and things like that, then you have more control of the bike if you're in a lower gear, and also you get more of that engine braking kind of feel if you were in a lower gear as well. And basically it just helps with control of the bike. That's why it's important. No, it is not necessary for you to do engine braking and to do rev matching on any motorcycle, but it's certainly one of those skills that you want to have if you are on country roads and things like that, where there are lots of bends and things, because you shouldn't be braking on a bend. At least you shouldn't be braking hard on a bend. However, you can use engine braking, so you can drop down a couple of gears, rev match, let the clutch out, and then the bike is slowing you down massively. You'd be surprised how much engine braking can actually slow the bike down, especially on a light motorcycle like this one. So what we'll do, we're going to go for a ride, and yeah, we're just going to do a little bit of rev matching and engine braking, and yeah, we're going to see if it's actually even practical on a bike like this. And we'll go, of course, in a bit more detail in how to do it on a little bike like this when you consider the throttle response that you're getting from this. I mean, if I just demonstrate here the throttle response, I mean, look, you got that play here in the throttle as well, which is another thing you might find on 125cc bikes, so something to bear in mind. But so that is 0%. Here we go. So I'm pulling the throttle back, and it takes a while for the revs to build up. That's what I say. That's what I mean about throttle response. Is that when you pull that throttle back, you want the revs to go sky high. And look, remember guys, this is in neutral, okay, so it's not engaging any gears or anything like that, and it takes a little while even just to get to 7,000 RPM, whereas yeah, on a sport bike, 600cc sport bike, almost any other bike basically other than a 125, it's going to be significantly easier to do the rev matching anyway. But you can still do it. You can still do rev matching on a 125 Ninja, and that's basically what we're going to demonstrate today. And yeah, we'll just see how useful it is, really. But let's take the little 125 Ninja out for a little ride here across these country roads, and yeah, we'll just see how well it manages to do this engine braking. So I'm gonna go all the way up to, I think that's 6th gear. So this is how you do a rev match. and there it is again. So I downshifted twice there, and I rev matched before engaging the clutch again, or before engaging the gear. I'll do it again around this bend coming up. So I'll go all the way to 6th. I am definitely in 6th now. So as I'm approaching the bend, I'm applying the brakes hard. Rev matching once, rev matching twice, downshifting twice. Now I'm in 4th, maybe 3rd. There we go, 3rd, 2nd. 2nd's a bit too much, that's okay. But 3rd is just right. To get around these bends, upshift, upshift. Braking, clutch in, rev match, let go. Clutch in, rev match, let go. It's all a very quick movement, it's all a very quick motion. So I'll pull over in a minute and I'll actually demonstrate this in more detail so you can actually get an idea, a better idea of what I'm doing, because I explained it in theory earlier in the intro, but I didn't actually show you what it was that I'm doing. But so let's upshift again and brake hard, clutch in, rev match, downshift. Brake hard, clutch in, rev match, downshift. So really the easiest way to do this is to get the revs over what you need for the lower gear, and then as you let go of the throttle, you'll find that the bike will actually match the speed itself as long as you get it over. But you don't want it over too far, because otherwise what will happen is that the bike will just jump forward, you know. So you do kind of want to make sure that you're in the kind of ballpark for that particular gear, for the speed of the tire. But yeah, it does help. I mean, so if I speed up here, don't know what gear I'm in, but I'm just going to let go of the throttle, and this is going downhill, by the way. Look at how much engine braking is doing for me. There's no brakes, no brakes. So just engine braking on its own got me down from 60 miles an hour all the way to 30 miles an hour in, okay, space of about 40 meters or so. But if I speed up again, and then if I do a downshift and a rev match, here we go. So it's 50 miles an hour. I've downshifted. I downshift again. I'm really feeling the brake force here, guys. Really feeling the force of the engine braking here. That's why it's really, really useful. Right, let's see if I can find somewhere to pull over and I can actually show you what I'm doing. But yeah, if you do want a more detailed explanation, definitely go check out that Rev Matching video, because I go through it in a lot more detail. And if it's something that you really, really want to practice and it's something you really, really want to do, then yeah, I definitely recommend going and watching that video. Alright, we should find somewhere to pull over soon. But I mean, just from that little demo there, yeah, rev matching and engine braking really do actually make a difference. Because normally what you would do, okay, if you're just riding normally, then, you know, you'd let the throttle go, you'd have the clutch out, you wouldn't be rev matching, you wouldn't be downshifting, you'd just be letting the bike slow down naturally in the gear that you're in. And then when you're close to stalling per se, then that's when you pull in the clutch, and that's when you just bang down all the gears. You know, that's like this. Yeah, so I didn't rev match and engine brake going into this bend here, into this little side road. I just kind of left it in gear all the way until maybe it got down to 2,000 or 3,000 RPM, and then I went ahead and just put it down all the gears all the way down to first. But let's have a look here. Let's see if there's a nice quiet area that I can show you this. Here we go, this will do. Alright. So I'm just going to put it in neutral. So the process here, so as you are moving along, if you want to slow yourself down with engine braking and rev matching, which is really good on bends, you can even do it just when you're coming to a stop, a complete stop. So if you're approaching like a red light or something like that, you can also do engine braking and rev matching to help slow yourself down. And look guys, if you want to slow yourself down properly, use the brakes here. You don't rely on engine braking to do it. But engine braking can be helpful in mainly when you're actually riding around, you want a little bit more control of the bike and its power, because what you want to do is you want to brake hard going into the bend and then accelerating away out the corner. That's what you want to do. That's the kind of process you want to go through. But what you'll find is if you leave it in the same gear that you're in, going around the bend, yeah, fine, you're going to slow down fine going into the bend, but then your acceleration out the bend, it might be lagging a little bit. Yeah, so you're probably going to have lost a little bit of that extra grip that you could have gotten going out the bend if you had a little bit of extra power to play with. And that is more of an issue on a 125cc than it is on a bigger bike, where you are looking for the maximum power you can possibly get in any given situation, because these bikes are, let's be honest, fairly slow. Right, so rev matching. So let's say, for example, I am in, I don't know, let's say third, fourth gear. Okay, I'm going down the road and I want to engine brake and I want to rev match and go down a gear. So the way I would do that is I would pull in the clutch, give it the throttle, bang down the gear, let go of the clutch. Yeah, so it's clutch, gas, gear down, let the clutch out. Now what I'm doing is I'm giving it gas, but I'm letting it go. I'm not holding the gas open, I'm letting it go. So clutch, gas, let go, bang down a gear, clutch out. That's the basic process behind rev matching. So I'll do it all together. Here we go. Now of course on a 125, because of that throttle response, you are going to need to open up that throttle just for a little bit longer. So it's going to be more like this. It's going to be more like that on a 125. And that's basically the process on any bike is that. So you're looking to that. That's what you're looking to do. Now obviously, because I'm not going down a gear, we're getting that bump forward that we don't want. But if I was going down a gear, then it would be I'd be in a lot more control of the bike going around the bend. So I'll try and demonstrate it again as we come towards another bend here. But yeah, it's really useful in those kind of situations where you're approaching bends and you want to make sure you get as much grip as possible going into the bend and then going out of the bend. That's basically why you do rev matching, and that's why they do it in racing and all that. But it does have its purpose and its application on the streets as well. If you want to be more in control of your bike and you want to make sure that you're able to keep that grip. Oh well, I didn't do it just then. I should have done. I just did the normal thing that people would do, rather than rev match and engine brake there. But it's a little bit further down the road. We'll get another opportunity here as well. But yeah, it's a really good tool to have, even on a 125cc bike, perhaps especially on a 125cc bike, where you kind of want to be in that power band. With this bike, you're looking between 7, 8, 9,000 RPMs, the power band on this bike. So if you can rev match to that power band, then yeah, you're gonna have a nice little amount of power in almost any situation. Even when you're like pulling away, if you reach the power band when you're at a standstill, then yeah, it's gonna get off the line really quick. On some bikes, of course, you might not necessarily want to reach the power band because you might flip it if you're not quite confident about pulling away with high amount of revs. Yeah, really good little tool to have. And yeah, in most cases you're probably not going to be doing it if you're just cruising around. But yeah, if you are trying to have a bit of fun and you're in the twisties on country roads and things, then yeah, rev matching, engine braking can be useful, and it will certainly certainly give you a hand getting as much grip as you possibly can and getting as much power as you possibly can going out of those bends. Alright, so here we go. So I'm approaching a stop, applying the brakes, clutch in, gas, gear down, clutch in, gas, gear down, and then of course clutch out at the end as well, obviously. Here we go, clutch in, gas, gear down, clutch out. Yeah. Once you kind of get used to the motion, it's a fairly straightforward thing to do, to be honest. But yeah, it does take a little bit of practice to get it done properly. Yeah, you don't want to be jumping yourself forward when you're in that lower gear, because believe me, when you're practicing, that's probably what's going to happen the first few times you try doing this. Yeah, this bike is proper nippy. There you go. So you see there that I rev matched to the speed of the rear tyre. So obviously when I got into first gear, the speed of the tyre was obviously close to what redline would be in first gear. So I had to get those revs right up there to rev match. And so that's the kind of balance, the art to doing this of rev matching, is understanding the speed of the rear tyre. And it's not something you have to know physically, it's something more that you have to know on the rev meter here. So obviously I'm in 4th gear, 5th gear at the moment. Not too sure because I haven't got a gear indicator, but I know that the speed of the tyre in the lower gear is going to be ever so slightly higher than the revs that you currently are at. And then yeah, of course, if you're going to rev match and bang down 2 gears, then you know that the revs are going to be even higher than that. So yeah, I mean, you're probably looking on a 125 at least, you're probably looking maybe 2,000 to 3,000 RPM more than the gear that you're currently in. Yeah. So at the moment, I don't know, if I'm in 3rd here or 4th, I think I'm in 4th, if I want to go down to 3rd, then I'm currently at 5,000 RPM, I'm probably going to want to be about 7,000 or 8,000 RPM. Now I had to slow down a little bit there, but let's demonstrate that again. So I'm at 5,000 RPM, there we go. So I banged down the gear, 2nd gear, I was in 3rd, went down to 2nd, and it was about 7,000 RPM. And that's the kind of the working out. I mean, it's going to be slightly different bike to bike. You know, maybe on a higher revving 600cc sport bike, you know, you might find yourself having to rev a little bit higher to rev match the lower gears. But yeah, it's a pretty neat little trick, and like I said, it'll help you get that grip even on a 125cc bike where tires are a little bit more narrow than on some of the bigger bikes. So yeah, maybe trying to find that little bit of extra grip will help you as well. But right, last thing we'll do before we finish up on today's video, guys and gals, is we'll just find a couple of bends here to do a little bit of practice rev matching for you. But yeah, hope this video has been useful to you guys, especially if you are looking to improve your riding abilities and things like that. You know, I'm one of those people that is always constantly trying to learn new things about riding to make my experience either more enjoyable or more safe. Here we go. Rev match, down gear, rev match, down gear. So I'm in 2nd. Now arguably I should have gone down to 1st there, but I'm not in a race, so who cares, right? Okay, here's another bend. So I'm going to go down 1 gear, 2 gears. As you can see, I was right at the top end of the rev range there, so maybe that was 1 gear too low. So yeah, these are the kinds of things that you'll have to play around with when you start practicing on your own bike. But yeah, hopefully this has helped you guys out, and hopefully it's been informative. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below about rev matching and engine braking, and you know, what your experience has been whilst using it, how useful you find it. I don't find myself using it all that much, to be perfectly honest with you, especially with the likes of the ZH2, where it's got a quick shifter, both up and down quick shifter, so it doesn't really matter. You don't have to do engine braking and you don't have to really do rev matching on that bike, because the computer does it for you. But yeah, thank you ever so much for watching, guys and gals. Make sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe as always if you enjoyed the video and you'd like to support the channel. And yeah, hope you're all doing well as always, and we'll catch you all in the next video. Have a good one.